G'day, I'm Warwick Schiller, and there's not a whole lot of difference between success with horses and failure with horses. It's just a lot of little management practices along the way, and I want to talk to you guys about a principle called marginal gains. And marginal gains was I first heard of it in relation to a fellow named Sir Dave Brailsford. So in, I forget what it was, early 2000s I think, British cycling was in a rut. British cycling, since 1908 at the Olympics, they'd won one Olympic gold medal and they'd never won the Tour de France. And so what British cycling did was they hired this guy named Dave Brailsford, and he came in with what he called marginal gains, which was he didn't change anything very big. He changed a lot of things about 1%. He had them do just interesting things you might not think of. Like one of the things he had the athletes do, he got a surgeon to teach the athletes how to wash their hands properly so that they got less chance of catching a cold. They researched the best pillows to get a good night's sleep on. They did things like put rubbing alcohol on the tires of the bikes to make them grippier. They changed the valve stems on the bikes to a valve stem on the tire that made the valve stem 1 ounce lighter. And they did all these little things, and what happened was the first Olympics they went to, after that, they won 60% of the available gold medals at that Olympics. And then one of the British cyclists won the Tour de France, which the British cyclists had never won. Then the next year a different one won it, and then he won it the next four out of the next 5 years or something like that. And I think it's the same with horses. All you got to do is just do a lot of little things every day, and it's going to help a great deal. And one of them is going on right now. So you guys have probably watched some of the videos I have done about horses that nip, okay? And when horses want to nip, what I suggest people do is engage with them. And this is my wife's new stallion, and when he came here, he was quite shut down, which means, shutdowns mean they're in an anxious state, but they're just holding it all inside. And what I do with, a marginal gain that I do with every horse here is every time I'm around them, if they want to engage with me, if they want to put their mouth anywhere near me like that, I will engage with them. And it takes quite a long time initially before they stop trying to bite you and carry on, but they're not really trying to bite you, they're trying to actually connect with you. And you might notice while I was talking to you guys, he wanted to connect with me and I just rubbed under his chin here. Then he started having those big yawns. Those big yawns are releases of tension that he's held in for long periods of time. And when he goes to engage with me and I don't reject him, I don't say don't do that, I actually engage him, there's another big yawn. Okay, and these are all bits of tension that he's built up from being around humans. But the thing about, and so I'm really big on every time I'm around a horse being aware of that, and if they want to engage with me, I'll engage with them. And you might notice right now, so there's no biting right there. It's a practice that you've got to do all the time, but as far as, it's not just you are engaging with them when they want to engage with you, but like you see, this is not just working on engagement, this is working on him relaxing and resetting his nervous system. And that, the whole resetting of a horse's nervous system is probably priority number one for me. So anything I can do to help them reset their nervous system, I will. And when I engage with these horses here, I'm just going to engage with the end of their muzzle, their nose or under their jaw right here, or just around their muzzle right there. And I've had some people say, when I engage with my horse when they come near me, he tends to bite and it gets worse and they, it's like they're playing. But I read something recently that said from here on down, like from the corner of their mouth and nostril down is engagement, but up here is play. And a lot of the people that have told me they've tried engaging with their horse, but their horse gets worse and worse and worse, a lot of times when the horse engages with them, they're doing this. And see right there, they start rubbing up the sides of their faces and those horses start to really play with them. I just try to engage right here, right on like at the end of the nose here. This is kind of like shaking hands with them. And so that's one little thing I do with every horse, is engage with them whenever they want to engage with me. A few years ago, my wife and I went up to Seattle, Washington for a weekend to a place called the Gottman Institute. And the Gottman Institute they're the world's leading researchers on relationships. It was a couples weekend thing. And we're actually reading a book right now called 8 Dates by John and Julie Gottman. And one of the things they talk about in relationships that is really beneficial is what they call turning towards. And so if your partner has suggests connection, that's called turning towards. If you turn towards that turning towards, things get better. If you turn away from that turning towards, so if they're trying to connect and you turn away, you say, no, I don't want to connect right now, it really inhibits the relationship. And I really think it's the same with these horses right here. So anytime, even though I'm talking to you guys, anytime he wants to engage with me, I do not turn away. I don't say, don't do that. I say, hey, how's it going, mister? And he's a stallion. We've had him probably 6 months now. And when we first started engaging with him, it got worse for a while. But I've not been bitten by him, and it hasn't gotten worse. You think, oh yeah, stallion, pretty soon he'd be attacking you or whatever. That is not the case. And that totally goes against everything we're ever taught about horses. But you can see right here, there's another big old letdown. When I engage with him, when he engaged with me, it really helps him learn to relax. And like a lot of times he will just stand here and I'll just play with his muzzle like this. Oh, the other thing that people tend to have trouble when they engage with their horses, they said their horses, things get worse. They're not paying attention to the horse's body. You might notice his feet have not moved here, okay? He's not pushing on me. When his nose comes over here, it's only his nose coming over here. He's not crowding me with his body. If a horse was to crowd me with their body, while they do that, I wouldn't engage with them. I would get their body further away from me. So, the engaging thing works if you don't go to the play zone and if you only engage with a horse that's not pushing into you. Like he's reaching out to me, but he's not pushing into me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to film a series of... No, mister. I'm going to film a series of... They love it when you rub that top gum right there too. I'm going to start to film a series of things that I do on a daily basis that if you were standing there talking to me, you probably wouldn't even notice I did. But they are a huge part of, you want me to rub that? My ability to get along with different types of horses, and each one's going to be a marginal gain. But the big thing is a lot of times when you're doing those, it's also what you don't do that, he's licking my hand here. It's also what you don't do that makes a huge difference. You're a funny man, aren't you? Yes. So sometimes he'll scrape his teeth like that right there. I'll just hold my hand open and let him do that. I'm not going to say don't do that because he's not trying to bite me. Okay? Even though his teeth are going together, think of biting as attacking or trying to cause harm or whatever. He's not trying to do any of those. He's just engaging with me. So you've really got to keep your mental outlook on what's going on correct too. The other day on social media, I had a video about this and I said, he's not trying to bite me. And they said, well, his teeth are coming together on you. Isn't that biting? Well, it is. But if I said he was biting, you would tend to think he's attacking me or trying to hurt me. If he was rubbing his nose on me, you wouldn't think that was bad. Well, this is just another version of him rubbing his nose on me. He's just rubbing his teeth on my hands. And so you really got to try to keep your mind straight and not let it go off into I'm being attacked by my 5-year-old stallion here. Anyway, that's a little bit about what I'm going to be doing here in the next few weeks, probably just filming some marginal gains clips and showing you little things I do every day that makes a huge difference in the outcome of my interactions with the horses.